talk for a second, would you? Hold on, I can't find... Oh, there it is. Joel, talk first. Joel, talk. Joel.
Yeah, I have those little wake up doodles.
I know your game.
Shut up! Shut up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll.
Do it. Friggin' knew it, man. Again, he baited me. He baited me so hard. I'm like, not gonna do it. Not this week. I'm not gonna
that's become our slogan. We need to make a T-shirt up that says "Shut up, Joel. Welcome to the weekly poll."
It's like on one hand I'd be mad, but on the other hand I'd be like, that's my name on a shirt, man.
That's the only reason why I won't do it, because it'll be only your name on the. The only way we can make it work is if we were like, shut up, Joel. Welcome to the weekly poll, starring Benny, Sal, and Rob.
You know what you gotta do? You gotta say, shut up, Cape Joel. That way, at least, like, I can have my URL and my branding.
Shut up, Joel. Anyway, I'm Benny the Comic Historian, and I do dramatic readings on YouTube. We're gonna be moving very quickly today. That is Sal and Tiffany from the ComicPOP channel. They bring you lovely discussions about comic books every week. That is Rob from Comics Explained and like 1,000 other channels, but he does a lot of smooth Morgan Freeman style explanations of your favorite superhero.
Jazz.
And lastly, we have Cape Joel. He brings you reviews of your favorite TV shows and comic books over on Cape Joel. We are your weekly poll usuals, and we are back. Today, we're going to be giving you a spoiler cast involving Luke Cage, the TV show. We are on a very limited timetable today because Rob does have to leave, and whenever Tiffany and Sal have decided they've heard enough, since they have not finished it, they're going to duck out. Hence why we don't have our usual panel thing. That way people can come and go as they please. But this is your warning, guys. I appreciate you all being here, but if you don't want to know what happens in Luke Cage from beginning to end, duck out now. This is your chance. If you don't care, that's what this next 30 minutes is all about.
That's right.
Well, and there goes the viewer base.
You've been warned.
What the hell? We got a noise. I didn't.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Wait, there's a noise. I don't know what happened. Oh, we got a subscriber for 3 months. Why are the noises working again?
No idea.
They just randomly. We're gonna work today. Next time we won't. So, hold on.
Oh, he's got to beautify himself for this, everyone.
Marty, we gotta go back in time.
Oh, jeez, Doc, I don't know.
Great Scott!
Is it the Libyans?
It's always the Libyans.
All right, guys,
Oh,
let's go ahead and kick it off then. We'll start it off. Luke Cage, for those of you guys who don't know, is the story about a guy who lost his dog. He fell into a well, and his dog went over to go find some help, but in the form of a girl named Jessica Jones. She came by to save him from the well. That granted him the powers of Iron Man. But that's what I think. That's what I think the movie's about.
Good job, Chris Bores.
But why don't you tell everyone what it's about, Sal, since you're probably more involved than I am.
Okay, Luke Cage is what the show's about? It's just about Luke Cage, the character.
Actually,
Actually.
I'm just messing around.
All right, he's just a guy trying to get by. He's the most reluctant superhero I've ever seen on screen.
That's probably my first complaint. We'll jump in it from there.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that, basically. I like how it started. I don't want to be a superhero. I want to do it. But I feel like the entire show was him being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Okay, I'll do this.
Seriously, like I am okay. I'm on episode 8. Tiffany's on episode 5. The fact is, and I'm not looking for confirmation, but I am going to say, I get the feeling, based on how Luke Cage has been behaving and how many mentor characters have been telling him he needs to stand firm and go forward, that by the end of the show, we won't even be sure if he's going to be a superhero anymore. I get the feeling that the show's going to end. Luke, are you going to stay? Are you going to be Luke Cage, the character from Marvel Comics? And he's going to go, maybe. And then end, and you're gonna go, oh my god, Punisher's not gonna put up with this crap when a Defender starts. You're gonna be like, oh, Daredevil, I don't know about this. Daredevil's like, geez, Luke, could you please just commit to one thing? We are trying to do something. It's frustrating because like the first episode was not a pilot. They got a 13 series
and losing him again.
He was on a roll too.
Yeah, it was. Oh, there he's back.
The first episode makes no attempt to grab you. It's just it's like an hour and a half of just like Luke being, I don't know, and Cottonmouth doing his thing. And what's more frustrating for me is that I don't really have, for the first at least 2 episodes, I have no problem with Cottonmouth. Like his plan, he's like, the dude is like trying to beautify Harlem. He is a criminal, certainly, but we've had like many movies starring criminals. And this guy, all he wants to do is like get the money he's owed from being screwed over. I mean, like, you got to make him a monster in order to make me want to. Kingpin is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Cottonmouth is like, I run guns. I get money for them. Someone screwed me over. I'd like the money back. I'm like, fair enough.
It's very 70s exploitation. I'm reminded of like, this is a lot of people being very violent over admittedly a little amount of money. What did he say he lost? Like $7 million? That's a drop in the bucket.
I think with Daredevil, Daredevil took away like $100 million for Kingpin.
Kingpin wouldn't even know Cottonmouth existed is the funny thing.
Well, and the thing with Kingpin, Kingpin's a fun, amazing villain. And I by the way, by the end, Cottonmouth is also incredibly sympathetic and interesting and a fantastic villain. But for me, Kingpin's like, I want the city because I think it owes me something. And you're like, fuck that guy. But with Cottonmouth, he's like, I want to own this company because I'm the first black owner of this, of this stature. And I'm like, right on, and they make these mistakes by showing you his past and making him really sympathetic. I'm like, this poor guy. I feel bad. Luke's just like, you're done wrong. I'm going to get you. And I'm like, hold up, Luke. Like, get all the pieces together before you start beating indoors. I get the criminal stuff, but, you could probably work things out with this guy.
Yeah. Before we go to the next thing, Rob, we need 2 splooges. We've had 2 subscribers.
2 splooges, huh? Well, 2 splooges coming up. Splooge.
Thank you, Uttermost Orange, and where'd the other one go? There it is. Gank got the juice.
Thank you.
And I actually 100% agree with you because we were talking about this beforehand, and then I realized I spoiled it for you guys. But cause I thought it was earlier in the show.
Now we know.
Yeah. But basically, Cottonmouth gets murdered, and I liked the show up until then because I was starting to understand Cottonmouth. Luke Cage was still against doing anything, but at least we had another character that was interesting. While Luke Cage was honestly just being a dick and pulling out of everything. And because the problem I have with Luke Cage is the whole time he's just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I want to be part of this. I want to do my own thing. I want to do my own thing. And then when he finally does something, the fight sequences are just, he walks in, gets shot a whole bunch, throws people around, and then just walks into the next door. It's not like Daredevil where it's like this one camera pan shot of like an amazing fight sequence,
No.
And see, I liked that Luke Cage actually made it all look easy. In fact, by the end, he's just slapping guys on the back of the head and being like, you're done. And other times they run away. And I'm like, because it's Harlem. He doesn't wear a mask. They would know him. That's a way to fight crime.
Yeah, I like that. I like his approach. For me, the issue is like, the first episode was unexpectedly boring because there was like just a slow build. Let's spend an hour and introduce you to all the characters, then we'll do something with them. By episode 6, I'm like, you're out of story.
No, you're 100% right. That's the problem I have with the show.
This should be an 8-episode series, and it was 6 episodes, and they're like, we're done. We've wrapped up all the plot. Like we've wrapped up all the stories, and then episode 7 comes around. They're like, no. It's not over yet. Let's undercut everything we've just done for the first 6 episodes.
Dude, they do that like 3 times throughout the series. That's one of the problems I had because I liked Cottonmouth. I liked the gang and the criminal element. I liked them going at it. But then the problem ended up coming by. Once Cottonmouth is gone, without really giving you too many spoilers, Tiffany, the show shifts over to being about the gangs because Luke Cage is removed from the equation. And then I'm like, well, now I'm just not interested because I know where this is going to go because we killed the interesting guy, and now it's a game of betrayal and who's going to side with who, and then we can do that for like 3 or 4 episodes, and Luke Cage is out of the equation. And
oh my God, he's the main character.
Yeah, and he's just gone, and we're following these characters that I don't care about, and I'm not sympathetic to their plight, and I don't care what's happening to Mariah and Shades. And at that point, Stryker shows up, and I just want to say this one thing about Stryker. He made no sense to me. I get his background with Luke Cage. I get he's a villain. I get that he's Diamondback.
They changed so much from the comics. This is probably the one Marvel show that changes more than anything else and goes off book like you wouldn't believe.
My guess is they didn't really have a book to go off of. There's a lot of Luke Cage books. Yeah, there's no definitive collections of like Luke Cage books that you can just like give to everybody and have them read it. It's either like omnibuses or he's a character in a larger cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told Bennett the other day. Like, that's the problem with the Luke Cage story is Marvel has like 16 issues to work off of with just Luke Cage because he had like 16, and then like he wasn't selling because blaxploitation went away, and then you had Claremont who had made Iron Fist, and they were like, well, let's just put them together, and so then it was just Luke Cage and Iron Fist for 125 issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't have anything with just see, to me that was kind of the mistake. I love the blaxploitation. All right, this felt like a throwback to the 1970s. It felt cool. Cottonmouth was the best character of the show. Luke Cage. They should have introduced Luke Cage and Iron Fist in the same show. Yeah, and it should have been them becoming heroes for hire in the same show.
Them doing 2 shows was, I think, a mistake. And it's based on just me being 7 episodes behind and being like, I'm not motivated to finish the show. I'm going to, obviously, and I'm going to try and finish it today.
I only did it for this job. I, honest to God, would have left at episode 9 and gone back to watching Walking Dead.
Wait a minute.
I enjoyed it more.
Hold on a second, Joel. Sploosh.
Thank you so much,
just
Shadow
subscribed.
Light.
Yes, thank you.
But I
sorry,
want to finish what I was saying about Stryker real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the problem I had with Stryker is he comes out of nowhere and he just starts telling everyone what's going to happen. And immediately, Shades and Mariah are like, no, this isn't going to fly. And then he argues with them. And then he pretty much threatens to kill everyone unless they do what he wanted. And it's kind of like, okay, I get that. Why did Shades just not put one bullet in this dude's head? Problem solved. Because he didn't show up with an entire army.
And he is just a guy.
He's just a guy with no powers.
Yeah, that's weird.
Him as becoming a new antagonist made no sense to me until Luke Cage came back.
Well, you spent an hour and however much time in the first episode introducing you to a dozen characters, 2 of whom could carry the show. One of 2. You could have it be either Mariah or Cottonmouth, make either one of them just run the bad guy show. Mm-hmm. Don't replace them more than halfway through the series.
Yeah.
You know what I think it was? I think it was a thing where with Jessica Jones and Daredevil, you had Kingpin and Purple Man, 2 great villains with a bunch of material that you could build a show around. With Luke Cage, it's he doesn't really have one strong villain. He's got 3 or 4 smaller ones, so I guess we got to put all of them in here.
That's the problem because larger overall problem because you could easily have made Cottonmouth a major you could have just added stuff. A team of great writers could have made Cottonmouth into a more three-dimensional character than he ever was in the comics. And the way that he was being set up and the way that they filled in his backstory, there's a lot there, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that you could explore. You could see Cottonmouth in jail, you could see Cottonmouth not in jail, you could see Cottonmouth on the run, you could see Cottonmouth on top or subservient. There's all kinds of places you could put that character and make him a menace. But the problem for me is that the writing isn't really great. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not really great. People say what they think and what they mean and how they feel. They don't show, they tell. There's a lot of just dialogue where characters say, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I think. And the other characters well, that makes me feel or think or say this. And you're like, can you, they were likening this show to The Wire, and I'm like, this ain't The Wire. No. Well, this needs to have real depth of character. And there are characters, and the actors really knock it out of the park.
They do.
The writing does not elevate it any further.
We need a splooge real quick, Rob. Wow, we're getting a lot of. It's because of that Twitch Prime thing. That's what's going
nice.
on.
Splooge.
It's a shame too, because this show was show run by the guy who did Ray Donovan. In fact, one of the actors from the first season of Ray Donovan shows up here as a cop yet again, and it feels weird for them to not be firing on all the cylinders that they could be a lot of the time.
That's how it feels.
I mean, the big issue in general is just overall it's like you said earlier, the show wrapped up with Cottonmouth. That should have been the end of the show, and then it
basically was.
Right. And then it's almost like they were well, we have to do 12 episodes.
There's no shame. I mean, look at Stranger Things. It's what, 6, 7 episodes? I don't remember how many episodes Stranger Things was, but there's no shame in being Luke Cage, a dynamite 8-episode show.
Defenders is going to be 8.
Yeah. Just go we desperately need just so people go I want more Luke Cage. Don't make us run out of steam.
And it's basically what happened. It ran out of steam. I'm sorry, Tiffany, go right ahead.
That's okay.
You haven't gotten to say anything yet.
I know. No, I agree it's slow, but I find that fascinating in a way that makes me want to watch it more, because the character that we are watching is also known as Power Man, so immediately you think it's going to be a fast action crazy show, but instead they've taken this intellectual turn on it,
yes,
where he's truly he thinks about the ramifications of what he does. He thinks about the long game. He thinks about what's happened in the past. He thinks about what his action versus his inaction is going to do. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, to take that stand back and take this character who could easily just, you know, be up there with the big leagues of superheroes with his strength and his invulnerability. And he's like, and that's unacceptable. And I think that that's really neat. And I like, as much as you're saying that it does feel like it is a little thin in some areas, for me, I like the subtext to some of the character development that, I don't know, that like I've witnessed especially between he and Cottonmouth, between two very you know, opposite end of the spectrum characters. You know, Cottonmouth at the beginning seemingly is a man of action, and in some ways, you know, he's a villain because of his business and because of the concept of needing to own Harlem. But at the same time, Luke Cage also is incorrect because he has these gifts and he's not doing anything with it. And I like that not cut and dry.
Right. But I'm also sick of him like running into another Sage character. He has like 3 different people who are all like, Luke Cage, you gotta be Luke Cage. He's like, no.
The first character, Pop, as great as he was,
he needs to be. Well, he
had to die, and we knew he was going to die. But you know, and as much as he was, you know, a saint, and he truly like tried to embrace Harlem, he had a seedy past. I like that he wasn't a true sage-like character. He was more or less like, I'm here to tell you what to do because I screwed up.
Right.
Like, I have that like that hindsight that you don't have yet, and you don't understand what it is that you're lacking right now. I think that the other characters they brought in are like filling in the other aspects of the Sage character. It's like they broke it up,
right?
And I'm kind of okay. I think that's neat. Like I think that's at different junctures he's going to get different advice and like allow him to see things from a different perspective. Because again, they're portraying him as a very intellectual individual.
Yeah.
And I admire that.
You need to have multiple sages in as much as like the hero's journey requires like you get this information, and then if you have a really strong depth of story, you have another sage character come in who challenges those beliefs. You know, like if you use the Star Wars label, Obi-Wan's like, okay, here's your lightsaber, here's how you fight, go. And then Yoda says, lightsabers are stupid. This is actually how you do things. And you're like,
for the record, I was waiting for one of the Sage characters to become the magically wise black guy who does like the magic stuff.
Dude, I would have been so down with that if Pops is like we have like if he's like the senior magic, like we got street magic. Let me show you the street magic.
He sees Pop's ghost up in the clouds like Mufasa.
Brother Voodoo could have been a character in this show. It would have been awesome. They could keep Brother Voodoo in Iron Fist. If they want.
The problem that I think the biggest issue I have with this one is that I feel like Jessica Jones was on such a high production level and with the actors and the value and everything that was coming on, and the story was paced perfectly and everything. And I feel like Daredevil, while it was slow at the beginning with the costume, same deal, but the second season kind of fixed a lot of those. Like, we learned a lot from our first season, so we gave you what you wanted in the second season.
It was more like, arc-based,
Yeah, yes. I feel like this one is more... This feels more like it would have been on TNT or something. Like, it reminded me of just like almost like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like a low-grade superhero show.
This is still better than S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I agree, but I mean, we do have Ghost
S.H.I.E.L.D. and I like this, but I get where you're coming.
I mean, like I said, like with Luke Cage, I think it's more just it's just a material issue. Like Daredevil season 1 was Frank Miller's run of Daredevil. It was his origin story, and he included the Kingpin. Like season 2. Just built off what they already had, and it included the Punisher. Jessica Jones was Alias. I mean, even Bendis like literally went there to make sure that they had it right, and he's like, "This is amazing." Yeah. With Luke Cage, you just don't have enough content. Now, having said that, when when Iron Fist gets there, if they decide to kick off a Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire, then that's when Luke Cage will shine because there's so much content there. But for right now, Sal was right. Like either it's Luke Cage's Mighty Avengers, or it's Power Man and Iron Fist, or it's Luke Cage alongside some other team. It's Luke Cage along with some other people. That being said, honestly, I would have liked it to be a little. This is going to be crazy. I would have liked it to be a little more blaxploitation. One of the issues that they had with this is it felt like Marvel was walking a line. Like, we want it to be blaxploitation, but we don't want it to be offensive. Make it offensive. Like, have Black Mariah, like in the comics, Black Mariah, like when she was first introduced, and you guys on the chat will get a kick out of this. Her great criminal scheme was kidnapping she stole an ambulance. It was kidnapping the deceased and then robbing them of their valuables. That was her great criminal scheme. What an awesome, fun way to kick off the start of it.
Yeah.
You know, I like the whole like, hey, we have to pay, you know, respect to the black community in Harlem. That's cool, and that's fine. Show it in terms of how Luke Cage carries himself, but I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more, you know, like wacky, zany, you know, maybe like archetypical, you know, stereotypical black phrases, things like that. Like, I don't want to watch a show where it feels like, hey, like we want to make sure you're not offended by how we portray black culture.
You should have had a little bit more
I definitely
teeth,
got that
I agree.
vibe from there. Like, I was really curious to see what was, because I mean, I don't know that much about Harlem. I mean, why would I know that much about Harlem? It's just not in my history. So I was really curious to see what they were going to do with the Harlem aspect of it, because I like crime. I play Grand Theft Auto, but
I live in the suburbs. I know what's up.
I played Grand Theft Auto. What was that? 4 San Andreas. I played
San Andreas. Well, no, like, okay, there's a really cool scene, which I think it was in episode 4. Sal, have you gotten to the episode where it starts off with a guy puts a gun to the back of Luke Cage's head?
Yeah,
That's 2.
Okay. All right. Episode 2. So in
that scene is in 2 episodes.
And so like, so that whole...
Wait, hold that thought. Seriously, hold that thought. You got to come back to it. But I do need to let everyone know our signing is officially on Saturday. Brandon is wrong, and he says go ahead and give him hate. So everyone, once again, please tweet out at this individual right here and tell him you done fucked up. Just go ahead and copy and paste that tweet. Just send that out to him. He messed up our signing date, so I have 3 videos right now telling you all to meet me for a signing on Sunday, and that's not true.
And that is not true. It's 1:45 on Saturday.
You've invoked the rage of Benny.
Oops.
So everyone, I pasted it in there at Nightman620. Go ahead and hit him up. All right, you were saying, Rob.
So anyway, that seemed like it was cool, and don't get me wrong, there's some stuff I loved about this show, but one of the things I didn't care for was he turns around and he goes on like this 3.5 minute long diatribe about like the struggle of African American society. Look, like you have to leave the planet to find people who don't know about the struggle of black culture is everywhere. So I don't want to see what
I don't know,
seen.
man.
Like give me something that I haven't seen before. What?
No, I
was gonna say I don't know, man. I've talked to some international people there, and they really did have no idea, and they thought this show was something of a crash course education in the plight of Harlem.
Really?
It's the American culture that understands the issues of black culture.
Yeah, that's true.
Around the world, that doesn't matter to them.
But you know what's cool?
Oh, hang on. I was gonna also I want to point out on that.
Hold on, Sal. Be quiet.
Hold on, Sal. No.
Wow.
Are like the younger generations, I mean, like across the board, let's not even say the younger generations, people in general, if you go and ask them history questions, the most basic history questions about the founding of America, they don't know the answer. So I don't take that as a Luke Cage trying to educate, you know, us about the black struggle. I take it more or less as him trying to educate the youth about, like, you need to understand history so that it doesn't repeat itself. You need to understand what's going on. And that's just how I took it. But like again, I think it's open to like interpretation essentially.
I like the idea of a superhero, of a prominent Marvel superhero, taking a second and being like, "Here's something you probably didn't think about," and just like opening his mouth and saying some shit that like you should hear. I always liked that moment. I loved Bendis' run on New Avengers, but I especially loved his treatment of Luke Cage as a character, because I remember there was a moment when Captain America invited him to be a member of the Avengers, and he says, "The only provision I have is I want to be heard. I want to try some things, and I don't want to say I want to do them, or I want you to like make sure that I get like 100% pass, but I want to be heard." And Cap's like, "Fair enough." And it's like, and when Cap dies and Cage takes over the New Avengers, he runs it reluctantly, by the way. He, like, people talk about how he's the leader of the New Avengers, and he's like, "I'm not the leader," and they're like, "Luke, we go where you go, where you say, we do what you do, like, you know, you're the leader." And it's like, that's the Luke Cage that I'm seeing on the screen, and it's the kind of character that easily could be a leader, like a character that even just by accident becomes a symbol and like a Captain America. Somebody actually says that in the show, where they're like, "You're the Captain America of Harlem," but they say it derisively, but it's like, no, you know what? That's actually kind of cool. Yeah. And I like that. My issue with like Luke being like, "I don't know," is like, dude, you've been told like 12 times to man up and do your job. Like, well, I'm frustrated because I'm like, for the same reason that I hated New 52, that he isn't the Luke Cage that I know. Right. Like, I'm waiting for him to be the Luke Cage that he needs to be, where it's like Luke Cage is a leader, and he's a motivator, and he's a beacon of hope that people believe in. They're already starting that, but like, you can't undercut that with like you know, where people are like Luke Cage's this dude, like who I believe in, but you can't and then have him be responsible for destroying Harlem, because then you lose the message.
Without spoiling it, you are going to get that Luke Cage by the end of the series.
Okay, cool.
So he is going to be leadership inspiring Luke Cage.
That's fine. I want that.
Don't forget, Luke is, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's the first of these to be spun out of another Netflix show.
Yes, because technically Luke Cage appeared on Jessica Jones.
They had to address what happened in there and how they left the character there, and then spin him into his own.
Yeah, they really did.
Jessica Jones gets to come in and just be like, "I'm Jessica Jones,"
right?
And whatever, and so does Daredevil.
I'm shocked Jess didn't get more mentions. Actually,
I was going to say, hold on, let's go ahead and talk about this. The fact that one, no other character showed up, and two, they spent like every episode has like an Easter egg mention. Hey, I know a lawyer. Hey, whatever happened with Jessica?
Don't even fucking say it anymore. No. I am so sick of hearing, I might have a lawyer friend. He better show up!
That's smart. Because you know Defenders is coming. And that means you're going to watch Defenders because of the fact they're not going to give it to you anywhere else.
Right. But
like,
I want Daredevil in my Luke Cage show!
I'm just saying, it's smart.
We do actually get a Jessica Jones sort of cameo, but it's not from a character you would expect to come in, and it was
cool. That moment.
It was a nice touch.
I was like, oh, that's fun.
Do you want to say what it is?
No.
Oh, I don't mind.
Do you want to know? Yeah, it's Trish. It's Patsy Walker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even remotely a surprise.
No, we get her, and then I will say this: I did like. Is that Rosario Dawson that plays that?
Yes.
Okay.
Night Nurse?
I love Night Nurse and her character now being actually like viable. She spends like the whole second half of the season by his side. So
she's the Danny of this show. She's the sidekick.
Yeah,
she's the Danny.
You know, the show got really good when they came back to Harlem together.
They're a good package deal.
Where I left off is that she wants to set up her practice.
Yes.
And that's all I care about.
I was like, oh, she could just set up the practice in the barbershop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, there were a whole bunch of. See, that was one of the things I did dig about Easter eggs, like Colleen Wing, like at the end. Yeah. Well, no, you haven't gotten to that yet. Never mind. Anyway,
I'll go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
Then I'll wrap up soon.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Tiff.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I also hope Misty Knight shows up.
Rob's gonna have to get going in a minute too.
Yes,
so Rob,
please.
let's get your closing thoughts on Luke Cage.
Yes, let's hear it, Rob.
Oh yeah. All right. Closing thoughts on Luke Cage.
Right? You are leaving.
Yeah.
Rob's on the local news.
It is. It's an interesting show. It did some cool stuff with blaxploitation. I felt like it pandered a little bit to we don't want to offend you with blaxploitation. I think it did spend too long with Luke Cage building up the courage to actually do anything. It did seem a little slow. It did seem like it could have been done in 8 issues. I think Cottonmouth was kind of wasted, to be honest. Yeah. He was great, but he should have been a season-long villain, like a season-long character. They should have added a little more to him, just in order to beef up that season-long run. But yeah, I mean, it was cool for what I think Diamondback kind of took away from it, because he was like your stereotypical villain, and with the exception
like of the
Kingpin,
Joker, wasn't he?
Yeah, like with the exception of the Kingpin, Marvel always seems to struggle with villains. So
it's Purple Man was great. Kingpin was great. No,
Purple Man was good. Yeah,
Marvel Netflix could nail villains until now, and no, but even then. Cottonmouth was cool, but he's fucking dead.
No, but I mean like villains as a whole. Like when you look at the movies, with the exception of Baron Helmuzimo, like he was cool.
And Loki.
Yeah.
Loki was fun.
Side note, I love. I got an email now explaining the mix-up.
Yeah, I saw that. So Vinny completely called me out.
Oh, he did. He said that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And you know what? Joel, me, and Sal will probably talk for a few more minutes before we have to wrap the show up. Yeah. But I will say this: we're kind of hating on it, but I did enjoy it. What I said in my personal raw opinions review, I did say, look, it's the worst of the Netflix shows, but it's literally like coming in third in the Olympics. You still went to an amazing event, and you trained for this amazing thing, and you're still compared to amazing other athletes, but you're just third. You know,
and it's opened up the world to do so much more now. Like we said, Night Nurse is established now. She can do more stuff. They've done all this other stuff with Hammer Tech and
I love that.
Oh my god!
It was like such a good. I saw the logo. I'm like, yes. Can he be in the show, please?
I know, because he was in Seagate. Remember, he was in the prison that Luke was in. Why don't we see that flashback?
Yeah,
That should have been a flashback.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like when I saw that, like before I take off out of here, that was one of the things that was so awesome because I felt like they were going to take Justin Hammer. He was at Seagate and he was never going to be seen or heard from again. And that was so disappointing because Justin Hammer was amazing in Iron Man 2.
So
and I
great.
so want to see him make a return, which I hope happens. Like I hope it comes out and he's like because now it's like Hammer Industries because I assume because that's the thing we don't know. Like we're kind of left to our own imagination here. Like somebody's selling his stuff. So is it Justin Hammer who is out of prison, or is he still operating out of prison? You know, is he just walking around on the streets, or is he still running his empire when he gets out? You know, assuming that he's still in prison, is he just going to take the darker turn?
Marvel
you know, well, I don't. I mean, well, I don't know.
Wouldn't he be a cool Defenders villain though? Be like, hey, I brought you all here today to kill the Defenders.
You know, that actually, a side note, why haven't they continued some of these characters in comic books tied into the movie? I feel like it's a wasted opportunity because instead we just get comics not tied into the movies with completely different changes. You know, that's an argument for another day. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode of this podcast.
Something else I really liked and something we only scratched the surface on. I thought Misty Knight was amazing. In many ways, you could call this Luke Cage featuring Misty Knight because she had such a long arc.
I was surprised by how much she was in the show. I'm like, this is not how much she was in the show. I was surprised because at first I'm like, oh cool, like Misty Knight's a character, like she's gonna cameo in some episodes. No, she's a major character in the show. It's literally Luke Cage and Misty Knight. It's their show.
They're
what
the two
blows
heroes.
my mind about that one is that the Misty Knight that's in that show, she's actually with Captain America in the comics.
I know, right?
Has she ever actually worked with Luke Cage? Bear in mind, I don't have a massive history on Luke
married
Cage.
Danny Rand.
Yeah, they were lovers in the comic.
Well, then I need to do more research on my Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, like Misty Knight launched. She launched the third version of Heroes for Hire after Luke Cage. So you had like Misty Knight, you had Colleen Wayne, you had Shang-Chi, you had like a handful. You had Black Cat. Black Cat was part of that version of Heroes for Hire. Yeah, she was the third iteration of that Heroes for Hire concept. That was part of Civil War. But yeah, no. See, okay. Here's but one last thought, and then I for true got a jet. When
no one believes you.
How far? Do what?
No one believes you have to leave now.
Oh yeah. Like one thing, and Sal, this is going to be a bit of a spoiler, but nothing too extreme.
All right.
Like when her arm gets injured, I was hoping they would take that in the direction of, well, now we just got to replace it with like vibranium. We got to give you a vibranium arm.
I was hoping that cool robot arm, especially because if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what is it? Coulson has a cool robot arm.
Well, for the record, she got injured, yes, but they didn't resolve that.
Yeah.
They resolved. Let's
talk about that real fast before you take off. We'll try to make it super quick, Rob. If you have to leave, just go. Okay, don't worry about it.
No, it's fine.
The fact that this is the first Netflix show to truly leave on a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah,
in a lot of ways,
yeah. Too. It's
not in a lot of ways. He was arrested, and that was where it ended.
No. But I mean, like they left it on. Okay, Sal.
Sal, you'll understand. Me stating that you don't know what happened. Trust me. Yeah. The plot. Let's say this. The plot here is resolved. And this is one of my biggest complaints about the last episode. The last episode resolves everything halfway through. It's done. Then they do an epilogue, picking up potential cliffhangers for season 2.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are left there and what direction the show is going to go in. But yeah, that's one of the things I like too, is that was the whole point of Luke Cage in his solo series, was trying to prove his innocence. You know, that was a whole run, and like beating up Dr. Doom. That was like the whole point, like try to prove his innocence.
It's a nice change of pace. There's no city to save, no evil alien invasion to thwart. It's just, I need to clear my name.
Yeah.
I'm also sick of hearing about the incident and no reference to Sokovia.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Avengers have done a lot of other things, you know.
All right, I'm going to bounce off here.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rob. We will see you soon. We're all going to see you in New York in 2 days. For anybody who's watching this and going to New York, we will be there. Our meetup is probably going to be Sunday at noon unless something pops up in the middle of it. But if you're just in New York, outside of the Javits Center, we will having a meetup. So otherwise, everything else is still in stone. Bye, Rob. Have a good one.
Bye.
Speaking of that, Sal, they mentioned, of course, the show takes place in Harlem. They're making a bunch of references to real-life civil rights leaders and real-life history and everything. Yet they don't mention the fictional history of when the Hulk broke Harlem.
No.
That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity when the Avengers, or when a founding member of the Avengers came to Harlem and destroyed it, and no one came. Like, she could have. What was her name?
Mariah.
Mariah could have been like, "Oh no, I'm rebuilding Harlem from the attack on the Hulk." Like
and that could have been the rallying cry to turn people against Luke too, being like, heroes don't care about us here in Harlem; they only care about those rich people uptown.
I feel like it's a weird situation that Marvel's in. Like they want to show you the cinematic universe, the shared universe, but when and they do a great job of that in the movies. But when it comes to the TV shows, they're like half hands off. Like it's happening in the same universe, but we don't really want it in there.
No, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating because they keep bitching about how hard it is, and it's the kind of difficulty where like the FBI and the CIA are like, it's really hard to work together, and it's like you really need to like get your shit together and work together anyway. Yeah. The Marvel Cinematic and Marvel TV, they're like, it's all about schedules. And I'm like, shut up.
Well, what blows my mind is, like, a lot of the things, like, they could very easily, without even doing actual crossover cameos or anything like that, slight alterations to the script would make everything line up perfect. I mean, great example is what DC Rebirth is doing right now with those, when we did the podcast recently where we mentioned it, where they just do slight mentions. They don't give a shit about it actually happening. They just make sure to make a quick mention of, by the way, see if Nightwing's available to do the door thing. No? Okay, cool. That's it. Yeah. And you could easily do that in this show and be like, remember the time Hulk beat up Harlem? That's why we're rebuilding it. Like, that's it. That's all you would need.
And you just you include a clause in the contract for all the people that you sign on from the movies, and you say, you check a box. It's like an organ donor box where it's like, would you like to be included in any of the television endeavors? Check yes or no.
Check yes.
And like, if you check no, like Chris Evans obviously would. You never expect him to be in the show. But if like Sam Wilson, like Falcon, if Mackie checks yes, then every time you do your show, you go, is there an opportunity for a Falcon cameo? And then you go, okay, well, it could be here. And then you go, okay, cool, let's call Mackie and ask him. And then they ask Mackie, and he's like, I'm free on this date. And they go, cool, we're going to set aside a schedule for Mackie to show up on this date. Like, that's called scheduling. It's what adults do every day.
You don't even need to do that. You don't need. I'm perfectly fine with movie stars are too big for the TV shows. This is why they wouldn't mesh. Like that's the excuse DC loves to use. I'm fine with that. But you could easily alter your scripts to just say a couple things. Now everything lines up perfect. It makes more sense.
I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does that to a painful degree where they keep referencing the Sokovia Accords. And it's like
Sam Jackson shows up every so often.
Yeah, because he's happy to. But that's the thing. Sam Jackson showing up is proof positive that all their complaints are horseshit. Because dude shows up. Why? Because he's got Sam Jackson money, doesn't care.
Yeah.
And like,
because he loves this stuff.
He does it because he loves being Nick Fury. That's it.
He likes being Nick Fury, but there's other characters, other actors who like being these characters who would be glad to show up. And you could have Tom Holland show up and be Spider-Man. They're like, oh look, it's big time Spider-Man from the streets who just is too big for us now. And he's like, I'm sorry, there's another alien invasion. I have to help them. Like,
Paul Rudd does TV. You can't get Ant-Man out there.
You could totally do Ant-Man. Like, there's a lot of opportunity that you could tell that what they're doing, their excuses are all excuses, and what they're doing is they're just going like, it would be really hard. It would just be too hard. I just don't want to do it. And like that's what it is, and you know what that's called? Lazy. And that's what's so frustrating. Because it's
you got to figure too. There's got to be like some interdepartmental dick measuring too going on between everybody.
No question. They're like, well, they're bitching about Age of Ultron, and they're talking about how great your shows are. Well, you know what? Like, come on.
In general, let's go back to Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage. Well, I'll wrap up my.
Well, we pretty much have discussed the whole thing.
Fair, yeah.
There's some big ones we haven't covered.
Well, what have we covered? Because the ending doesn't really wrap out much else. I mean,
we haven't talked about the huge changes they did to Luke Cage's origins. Now he's actually not from Harlem.
No.
And he was a cop before he got framed, or was training to be a cop. That's pretty huge.
He was a detective.
I actually didn't know much about Luke Cage, so the changes I know nothing about. So you guys can hash that one out if you want to.
That's a big change. Also, you guys are in the States, so maybe you can answer this. He drives from Harlem to Georgia in like a day. How long a drive is that? I remember watching that. Like, he shouldn't be able to do that, should he?
Not in a full. Like, no, you could. No, not in a full day.
Okay.
No, Georgia's pretty close to New Jersey.
It's kind of close. Like. It wouldn't. Well, I've never seen that episode, so I'm
looking it up right now.
Okay, you do.
No,
that.
you have. Well, yeah, it's right after the one you're at. He's going to drive to Georgia. We won't really go much into why, but.
Okay, I get you. I see why. It would take about a day. It would take about half a day. Like less than.
He'd get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would
Okay,
take less
that's
than 24 hours.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
it's not bad.
Another thing, Benny, because you're not that familiar with the Luke Cage history.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually a lot more familiar with Iron Fist, but I thought I was.
Right.
But apparently he got married. I didn't know that.
It's in the comics, he was part of a gang. That's the thing. Like, he wasn't a good guy. He had like a dark past. He was part of a gang called the Rivals, and the members in the gang were Shades, Comanche, who is mentioned but never shows up in the show, Stryker, and himself. That was the gang, is the thing. And he wanted to leave the gang to be with his wife, Reva, and they frame him and they send him to jail where, he gets experimented on by Rackham and everything. Rackham is in the show and Rackham is in the comics, which I thought that was a nice touch.
That is cool.
That was cool. I like that.
Do you like this more updated version of him?
I think it's fine. It's weird because he's like, okay, he's from Georgia. His fierce loyalty and devotion to Harlem is kind of hollow.
I will say this.
I'm not
I
from
was questioning
Harlem.
that. No, I was questioning that at one point because I was like, because he's like in Harlem and he's doing his thing, and later on I kind of figured, okay, well he's here to help out Pops, but how did he get to Harlem has always been my question. Because if I'm an escaped convict with superpowers, the last place I'm gonna go to is Harlem.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, my point about him being like what's his connection to Harlem is the fact that his wife was from Harlem, so he's trying to like recapture a little part of her, and I get that.
I mean,
but
I caught
also,
on to that much later when they started revealing more stuff, but it's still kind of loosey,
It seems a little hollow.
It's not like she's from Beverly Hills and he's gonna go hang out in a nicer area. He's like, well, she's from Harlem. Oh, I'm gonna go to Harlem. Like,
did they not want to retrace?
Objectively, it's like, well, I can go to this place where there's a predominantly like ethnically non-diverse location where I might be able to blend in, and I have some connections there. Like, it was literally, it's the only friendly place he knew, and it's when it comes to the authority looking for him, they're going to be like, okay, so he's an African American, about 6 foot tall. There's a lot of people who fit that description in this area.
Did you feel too maybe they didn't want to retread Matt Murdock's love for Hell's Kitchen, where it's like, this place, it's a part of me, it's in my blood. If Luke Cage was spouting off the same way, yeah, they kind of did. They retread
it with Cottonmouth. I mean, you could. One of the first things I noticed was Cottonmouth, huh? He looks a lot like what's his name, Kingpin.
A sensitive gangster who maybe didn't want this life, who had to deal with a dark, familiar past,
and had a hard childhood. Yeah,
exactly. Even that bit there, I'm like, this is kind of familiar. Which in my way, I would have made it more about Black Mariah, because Black Mariah was a more front and center Luke Cage villain, and by the end, it does kind of become more about her without giving too much away.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but it's like, I wish you did that a little bit sooner. Now, stuff I like too. Again, Misty Knight kicks ass. The music kicks ass.
Yes.
This is one of the best sounding Marvel things.
This is the best soundtrack I've seen on a Netflix show. It is. I love this one.
Yeah.
The design even just of Harlem, like, you really do feel like you're there because they actually filmed it there. You couldn't be more there if you tried.
I really like that.
Even the references, again, like, this is a really reference-heavy thing to stuff that I wasn't that sure of, like the civil rights leaders, even sports and stuff, where I'm like, oh, God, they're talking about sports ball. I don't know about this.
Yeah. But it's funny. I've seen certain movies that make it all about, one genre that I'm not particularly connected with, like music or cars. And yet this show doesn't make it all about that, but makes it all about that. You get the spirit, you get the history, but they don't bog you down with you get the conversation that's clearly an inside conversation, but you don't feel too on the outside because they don't dwell so much on it. It's not like that scene in Death Proof when they spend about 45 minutes talking about car movies that no one's ever seen except Quentin Tarantino, and you're like, this scene has to end now. No one else. This is literally just for you. It's a masturbatory scene. But all the scenes where they're talking about sports, but
I like things.
But yeah, I like these things that no one else seems to like from here. Like that, whatever, but
Gone in 60 Seconds, the original version, not the Nicolas Cage version.
Yeah, who cares? But I know car people do. Good for you, but don't make your whole movie about these inside conversations. And the fact is, that writing is really good. It's almost, for me, it's so natural. I half expect it to be improv.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, I think we've kind of spoke pretty much in length.
Yeah,
about
it's a
going
good
on
show.
Here. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on, Joel?
I'll say this, and this is kind of interesting. I actually binge watched this one quicker than I did Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and I wonder if a part of that is that, you know, there was a lot of the stuff that made me enjoy Daredevil and Jessica Jones is that they were oppressive in themes and storylines and everything. Luke Cage was a little lighter, honestly, even though, of course, it did deal with, you know, civil rights and police corruption, even though I feel they did kind of juggle that one weirdly by the end. I was able to I didn't feel it sucked as much from me as Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Like, it wasn't as much of a commitment where I'm like, yeah, I can watch this.
Yeah, I did watch this one faster than Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but that's only because with this latest show, I didn't want it to be a game again of Benny hasn't finished Daredevil in 3 months.
It's true.
Right.
And when you threw down the gauntlet,
watching this.
like here's the thing. Like, when you threw down the gauntlet and said, we're talking about this today, I'm like, well, shit, I guess that's my job for this week.
That was what I did for the weekend, to watch the show so that I'd actually, for the first time ever, be caught up when we had the discussion, as opposed to being what Tiffany had to do and be like, all right, guys, well, have fun. I've only seen 2 episodes.
I gotta go. That said, you know, it's funny, like, for all my complaining and whinging about the show, I will say that, you know, after seeing the first 2-3 episodes, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna, I'm gonna finish it, but I don't know if I'm gonna rush to finish it. But the show would get stuck in my craw, and I would have to go back. I felt compelled to watch more. And by episode 8, I was like, the show's gonna start. I gotta go beyond the goal. And I was like, I'm invested. You know, like that they put in. If you are willing to give to let the show earn off of the backs of Jessica Jones and Daredevil, then you'll be rewarded by a pretty solid show. And you know, maybe this is the kind of show that proves that the format of wait a week between episodes might actually still hold water, because like it was hard to binge this show. It was hard to like not sit through it, but like just to sit down and be like, I'm gonna watch all of this show, because you don't get to there's so many lulls, so many long takes,
no act breaks.
There's so many moments that you just kind of like need to take in and think about. Like, I'm still getting over the death of Cottonmouth, and I'm still getting over like Cottonmouth's origin and Black Mariah and all this really great stuff, and we're already moving on. We're getting other things, and
it's a real vibe show. I get what you're saying. It's a real feel show.
Yeah, you really do feel the show, and it's hard to shake it off. And so I think that more than any other Marvel show, this one will haunt me, where I'm going to think back on episodes, and I'm going to be like, I want to watch that again. And that's one of the most like generous compliments I could probably give the show, is like, I feel compelled to watch more. Whereas Daredevil, I just wanted to. I'm like, oh, dude, Punisher, I'm just seeing all the things.
Punisher, I think Punisher, the Daredevil season 2, and Jessica Jones, when I finally sat down and watched Jessica Jones, were the 2 that I binged watched all the way through. For me, Luke Cage, about episodes 7, 8, and 9. I literally, if we weren't doing this podcast, probably would have just quit there and come back later.
There's a serious middle lull before it finally kicks in at the end. And what kicked it in the end for me, and again, Sal, if you want to put your fingers in your ears on this one, because it's actually a pretty cool thing that I don't want to spoil.
Okay.
So again, we talk about cameos, and obviously there wasn't a lot of superhero cameos, but that still doesn't mean Luke Cage didn't have an amazing cameo. Fucking Method Man shows up with the Wu-Tang Clan and sings a song about Luke Cage. Look, Iron Man, cool. Hulk, you guys are cool. You don't have a Wu-Tang rap song written about you.
Okay, that was really cool. Let's let Sal come back in. Sal!
You can come
back. Sal!
All right, I'm back.
What he was talking about is a cool one. You'll enjoy that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. I also like, you know what's funny? The moment that, for me, I was like, oh, I don't know about this show, was the moment when Turk snuck onto the roof. Because, like, what was funny is, then it got me. Because there's that moment where, the moment where it got me was when Cottonmouth throws the dude over the thing and goes, you can collect your money downstairs, Mr. Turk.
That was 70s good. Exploitation.
I'm like, you got me. And then Turk goes, man, y'all are crazy. I'm going back to Hell's Kitchen, where Daredevil and Jessica Jones live. Yeah. See you on those shows. Peace. And I'm like, okay, there is no subtlety in this. Like, and I think that might be just in the failing of the actor who plays Turk. But
he was in the other shows, so I'm not crazy. He was in the other shows.
He was on the other. He was on both shows.
I was
He
sitting
was
there
in all
like,
of them, yeah.
I feel like he's in the other shows. Like,
He is.
Him and Night
He was-
Nurse are the ones that tie this together.
He inexplicably isn't killed by Frank Castle. Frank catches him running guns, and he doesn't kill him. And I'm like, what?
Just like in the comics, Turk is so super lucky that he manages to just coast through life.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's cool. Too bad Ben Urich didn't get the same distinction.
I know, right?
You know why? You know why? I guarantee it was 2 conversations, by the way. Really quick aside about Ben Urich. It was, we're never going to get Spider-Man, are we? And the other one goes,
Aw.
even if we do, we're never going to be allowed to have Ben. Like,
Aw.
they're never going to let us kill him.
Why you gotta tell me that, Sal? That makes me
We're
sad.
never going to get Spider-Man.
so, all right. Well, I mean, there's not much else to talk about. We actually intended this to go only 30 minutes, guys.
Yeah,
because
we got the full
Sal-
show.
Yeah, we got a full show out of it, basically.
Sorry.
There's not much else to talk about this week. We actually did not fish for any news this week. So
There's
No.
Sal already kind of mentioned the one there. Hey, Wildstorm's coming back under Warren Ellis.
yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be cool. I mean, DC is opening a whole bunch of other branches. That'll be interesting. They got the Young Animal line, Vertigo line, and now we have the Wildstorm line coming back. And from what I understand, they're all in the same universe. Although Vertigo is Vertigo's on its own. But that's their
They
indie
saved
line.
Vertigo. They fixed it. They brought back the original editor for Vertigo. And they what's it called? They Gail Simoned her.
Yeah.
They fired her, and then they went, and then they heard a lot of complaining, and they brought it back.
A lot of white
So
hot
that'll be
range.
interesting. Title of Batman is The Batman. I forgot about that.
Of the Batman, which we all knew thanks to the leaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
By
that's-
the
that's
way,
just-
so far,
The
all
leaks are
the
accurate.
announcements are true.
Yeah. All those leaks so far are pretty true.
Which
According to
makes me
Wade,
feel like
there's
a
information
jackass
on a
'cause
new
I
Legend
fought
of
again.
Korra
Which
comic.
means Wonder Woman sucks, and it means Zack Snyder screwed up Justice League, and it means like there's a lot of problems.
But bring it back for a second. What'd you say about Korra there, Benny?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a new information on the Legend of Korra comic.
Oh yeah, they announced that like a long time ago that the show was supposed to continue in comic form. Then nothing happened.
I'm just going off of what people are saying because when we said that we don't have news because we intended this
Oh,
to
wow.
end, they're giving us all the news now. We don't talk about individual comics on this show anymore, Marvelite. We have a second show for that, which normally airs Thursdays, but we're all going to be in transit that day. So
Here, I actually wrote some stuff down here. Oh yeah, you guys already covered the Wonder Woman officially buy thing over on the poll.
On the
yeah,
poll.
the one episode you weren't on, we actually had like a dude. You missed it. You weren't there, and we raged for like 45 minutes about Civil War.
Wow.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
like,
You know what?
for
I'm
you
just gonna
guys.
go ahead and say it here for these people here, just in case. Okay, hold on, you guys. You hold on. Tiffany, you ready? You ready for this? Civil War 2's not shit.
What?
No, it is. It's just that Nick Spencer is like allowed to hear about shit that they're planning. Like,
And
clearly
write
what
a
happened
good
was
story, yeah.
Marvel told Nick Spencer how it ends, and Nick Spencer's gonna like just keep putting stuff in his
Well,
books.
you and I were talking about Sal. Apparently, Civil War was supposed to end this month. The Captain America issue this month explains that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is the guy behind everything.
Puppeteered everything,
Yeah, he puppeteered everything, which actually makes for a really cool plot. Why is that not in Civil War?
Because
because
Ben just
doesn't
don't care. Ben just don't give a fuck. That's
Yeah.
why.
Don't
Nick
you care?
Spencer apparently does give a fuck, though, which makes me want to read that Captain America book even more now, where he's like, look, I'm going to take some time out of my own Captain Hydra story to try and fix Civil War 2.
So before we go,
but isn't Ulysses so great?
the inherent problem with Ulysses is he is not the second or the third or even the 10th person in the Marvel universe that can see into the future.
Well, he's also not even the second or third character that Bendis created to advance slow-moving plot lines.
Yeah.
You want to know what?
That's yeah.
You want to know what tie-in was really hot garbage? I don't think I've ever gotten angrier in a video than I did in this one. Thunderbolts #5, which I'm supporting because I like Jim Zub a whole lot, and, you know, I want to see that book do good. Ooh, is this a bad tie-in? Bucky hears that Captain America is going to get killed by Spider-Man, and he jumps the gun and says, well, guess I got to go to New York and kill Spider-Man now. I will do no research and call nobody.
Yep.
I will also leave Kobik, my godchild, who could honestly fix everything if I told her to. I'm going to leave her behind with these villains, and I'm going to go kill Spider-Man for no reason. And the art is so bad, there's a moment where Winter Soldier and Spider-Man are fighting. The artist clearly forgot that Miles is supposed to be a teenager because he's the same height and the same, like, muscle mass as Winter Soldier.
Weak.
Oh.
Okay.
That sounds like a tie-in.
So here,
It was.
okay. So this is what they were talking about. The person who asked about Justice League of America, they announced the Rebirth team finally.
Oh yeah,
It's
I've been
going to be
hearing
a
about
series of one-shots.
It's a series of one-shots, yes. Expected to launch as a February 20th
There's a
monthly book.
villain. Ooh.
I can't find the name of the people behind it, though.
It's Steve Orlando who's going to be writing
It is
them.
Steve Orlando? Okay, Steve Orlando and
Yes.
then Ivan Reis. I like Ivan Reis's art. He's good.
Mhm.
He's great.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Nice.
Steve Orlando has been hit or miss with me so far, but he's been hit enough that I'm on board with seeing where he's going to go with it. Yeah.
And if you've seen the makeup of the team, it's Vixen, the Ray, the Adam, Ryan Choi, and Killer Frost. So it's the TV adjacent team, is what
Right.
it is. So
I'm
much
fine
to
with
the
that
point.
because you know what? Justice League of
too.
America was never supposed to be a second goddamn Justice League book. It was supposed to be the B roster trying to figure out how the hell they do it.
Yep.
How do they do it? Ah!
I'm shocked actually that Green Arrow isn't on this team because Green Arrow is not on a Justice League team. He's
Could
on the
still
TV.
be. They're still announcing them.
It's true.
Who knows?
I'd like that if they put him on that team. It'd be a good makeup for a team.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, okay, so before we head out for the day, guys, now that Tiffany's here, let's real quick. If you are going to be in the New York area, here's what we're planning right now. Bear in mind, shifts are happening. You guys need to tweet us. Follow us on Twitter at ComicStorian, at Sal Says What, at Caped Joel, at The Real Zoobs. Did I get it right
Yep.
for once?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. High five. Yeah.
Internet 5. Okay. So Friday at 1:30, we'll be doing a signing at the Valiant booth. At 5:30 on Friday, we'll be on the main stage doing a weekly pull invades New York Comic Con. Saturday at 1:45, we're going to have a signing in the New York Comic Con booth. That will be just me, Sal, and Rob. It's nothing against anyone else. They literally told us you can pick 3 people, so we decided to go with the founding 3. The founding,
Yeah.
we are Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Since Rob's not here,
We're the Trinity.
yeah,
Oh,
we're
wait,
the
but
Trinity.
You can find essentially the Justice League of. We'll be waiting.
Yes. Ben and Joel and Tiffany will be there.
So okay,
I'll be
they'll be
wearing
off
my-
to the wing. Just like if you guys want their signatures, they're waiting over there.
I think you should. I think you guys should just be there.
Just like the JLA. I'll wear my
the
Green
Trinity,
Arrow
which
hood
is
and everything.
which makes
Yeah.
me I'm Batman since I dubbed this. Sal gets to be Superman. Since Rob's not here, he's by default our Wonder Woman.
Yeah. That's good.
The spirit of truth he is.
Yes. Anyway, so that's going to be happening then. And then at 3 o'clock, we have our panel at 3 o'clock. That's going to be a thing. We're going to be doing that. And on Sunday at noon, right now, we're planning the meetup outside of the convention hall. Now,
Yes.
whether or not that gets changed, you need to follow us on Twitter. Also,
Yep.
go to the Comic Historian channel. Give me a subscription, because I definitely need more. Give me a subscription so that you know on
Do that
Friday.
for all of us.
Yeah, do that for everyone. You know what? While we're at it, but anyway.
Subscribe to everybody.
Yeah, the Comic
Just
Story
saying.
channel is going to have, we're going to be hosting a weekly poll live from the Valiant office. Once again, we've done this before, discussing their new projects and stuff going on Friday night. I've decided to put it on the main channel as opposed to putting it anywhere else, just because I thought it'd be fun. Plus, we can promote the weekly poll to the general audience. Be like, hey, you
Yeah.
will like this. Come here on Tuesdays like normal. That would be that's a way to promote it. For you guys over here, you're all the great ones who join us all the time. We're looking at the possibility of streaming here for you guys and on the channel. It'll definitely be on the channel just because we're getting the promo on there. So,
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's awesome.
I think that's everything. Did I cover everything?
It sounds like it.
All of our public stuff. I mean, we got a bunch
Yes.
of like little things going on.
We got our own stuff going on, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That don't involve garbage cans.
No. That you guys are all going to be at.
Yeah.
Wait, what garbage cans?
No, that's where they were going to hang out.
Oh, you need to
Kind
do
of.
that seriously. So we'll be like the Trinity and the Justice League. They're over there.
We're
Yeah.
like, hey, and then like the janitor's pushing us out of the way.
Yeah.
And people
Get outta here.
We're like, oh.
Get out of here, you damn second
If
stringers.
you do come to the panel, just a heads up, the panel will feature the 4 of us, me, Sal, Rob, and Joel. But the additional team and cast and everyone will be there. We'll probably pull them up to talk at various points and just send them back down to their chairs.
Good
in the
idea.
Yeah.
corner. Tiffany, what's your
They should
opinion?
be
Run up
holding
here.
signs.
Like, I'll fall on my face.
I don't believe we have any plans or capabilities to stream the New York Comic Con podcast, Jaybird. But Sal,
No.
we're basically going to be filming 2 panels. The panels, I'm filming the Valiant panel. It's going to go up in the Comic Historian channel. But the weekly poll panel will go live on probably
It'll be
ComicPOP.
filmed. Yep.
Yeah,
and
so-
we put up on the channel.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
it'll
Well, I
be
mean-
filmed and put up there.
If they let us have a hard wire into their internet, well.
Yeah,
that's
they can do
just
it.
Yeah, like.
I doubt they will.
What's the plan for Saturday? I just said it. We're going to be signing from 1:45 to 2:45, and then panel at 3, and then we're done for the day.
Damn it.
What?
We just told you, man.
That's a lot of things to keep straight, man. If I try and put too many ideas in my head, I push the other idea out.
Don't worry, we'll put it up on the Weekly Poll Twitter, maybe even the Facebook page. I know not a lot of people go there, but we're gonna put a schedule and an image up there so you guys can just keep track of it that way, and then hopefully everyone else will tweet it out or whatever.
But make sure you follow us. Yeah, there's no way to live stream Chevy. If there was, we would, but it won't be stable, so it won't be good.
Totally.
No. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi there is wonky at best.
Unless they've done some major upgrades, it's not going to function.
Yeah, no. I'll bet someone periscopes it though.
No,
you mean Rob?
I like Dante. Supposed to play for Saturday. Saturday, right? Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, Rob will probably be periscoping it. Now everyone's asking what's going on Saturday. You know what? Screw you guys. I'm going home.
You're already home. You can't get more home.
All right, guys. Wait for Connor now. He's like, actually, Sal. Actually, Betty.
Actually.
But we are looking forward to meeting up with as many people as humanly possible. Totally. I will say this: if you see us on the con floor, and trust us, we're real comic book fans. We will be on the con floor.
We will be there. Yeah.
If you see us,
say hi.
Don't hesitate to come by and say hi. Everyone else is kind of quiet. I'm very in your face, but don't worry. I'm just very caffeinated at all times.
He's not kidding. He really is.
Just feel free to approach us. Just get right into our face.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead. I'll be like, yo, what up going on? And he'd be like, okay, don't hit me. I'll be like, I'm not going to beat you.
Yeah, no, come back.
If you want, whenever you come to meet me, I'll hide behind Sal, Tiffany, and Joel. They're the kind of quieter crowd. So I'll be like, hey, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you the head nod of no, I'm sup.
I love, for the record, I get these comments whenever I do my vlogs. And they're like, do you ever breathe, man? It's called decaf. What is wrong with you? And I always respond with, oh, no, I'm like this when I wake up. 0 to 120 as of a minute.
Yeah.
Sal sees me when I wake up. It's like, morning, what are we doing?
He's like, I'm like, dude, come on.
Dude, no.
Just give me a minute.
No, caffeine is fed through my veins. It actually is.
Yeah.
But no, I
that's
try
what
to
that
be as friendly
tube
as
is. You think it's a
possible,
headphone.
guys,
It's really just an IV full of coffee.
Yeah.
Directly into my brain.
No, but I always end that statement with, I go from 0 to 120 instantaneously, and I'm very caffeinated at all times, and I have no friends. That's how
No.
It's because he's outrun them all.
Yeah.
Funny side note. So I've decided to take up running again. I haven't done it in 4 years, but because of my ankles. Nice. But it was recommended that I've hit a plateau in my cardio that I can't really trim down anymore. So my trainer was like, okay, look, you either gotta start biking like 3 hours, or you need to stop eating crap. Or he's like, or you can up your cardio. And I'm like, upping my cardio would be running, so I started running, and I actually got it down. I can do like 4 miles now in like 30 minutes. It's not horrendous.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've got a pretty good pace going. So one of my guys, Houston, shows up, and he's like, I want to go running with you. I want to get in shape. So he runs with me, and we got to the end, and he's just like,
I know that feeling.
So your statement of me outrunning out my friends is true.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite literally.
They're going to get here. They weren't eaten by wolves.
No.
Can you imagine me on meth? Just picture me 13 years ago. Anyway.
Oof. Bringing it right back to a
part of me wonders if I'm just like broken now. Just
yeah.
I see your refrigerator, Benny.
Well, I moved. You didn't know I moved over here?
I did. I was like, oh.
Oh no! So I was in. So Natalie and I live in we own a condo, and we live in this condo, and we had 2 rooms, and we have the living room. Well, I don't know about you guys, because you have friends that come over all the time, but we don't have a lot of people here in Colorado that come over. So most of our day was wake up, go to the office, where Natalie and I were crammed in there, right?
Right.
And then what ended up happening was, I was like, we're getting very much on each other's nerves, and we were like, oh, let's look at renting a house or getting more space. And I'm like, you know what? We don't use the living room. Why don't I just turn that into my office? And their problems, and it 100% solved our problems. But now I'm in the living room here, so you get to.
There's a whole other room out there, man. A living room.
That's awesome.
Wait, go back over. I want to see.
Ooh.
I like all your
Warcraft
posters. Very nice. Hey, Burning Crusade, that was my favorite one.
And then
it's interior decorating with Benny.
Wait, go back, Sal. Yay!
Nice.
Those
are big.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're actual canvas pictures you can get from
oh, wow.
And you'll appreciate this one right here.
Nice.
For those of you guys who don't know, Tiffany plays that thing religiously.
I do. I play it a lot. I don't get any better. That's the irony. I just play it a lot.
And she never invites me, even though I'm always like, just tell me you're on and I'll jump on and join you. And she's like,
you're usually in the middle of something in World of Warcraft. I can see where you are. It's like, this location doing this thing.
No, I normally just leave it on.
What?
And he was hanging out.
I just leave myself. I'm on right now, not doing anything. I'm just in the True Shot Lodge, just sitting there waiting for someone to be like, "Hey, let's go do something," either on World of Warcraft or another game. It's the equivalent to me going to the coffee shop and just being like, "What's everyone doing?"
I just assume you're being super diligent. You're like, I gotta get these levels, and I gotta do this, and I gotta train that, and I gotta complete these quests.
I've been 100% capped out. Like, I'm as high as you can pretty much get without like a really rare drop for like 4 weeks.
You're gonna want to get that rare drop, man.
Yeah.
What do you play?
I'm keeping myself restrained to my hunter. So that way I'm a DPS, so I'm not in high demand, and I'm not leveling multiple characters up, so that I don't play a lot of WoW.
Because you're sensible, because that's what adults do.
Right. Exactly.
What race?
I'm a blood elf.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm also a female character, and I wear all the skimpy mail.
God.
Why am I
it,
not
man.
surprised?
I used to play a female orc hunter.
Oh, okay. So, are you ready to come back then?
Works for life.
No.
We can. I'll show you how to build up your True Shot Lodge. I'll level up a warrior with you and break my oath just for you, Tiffany.
You don't know how badly, like, every once in a while I look at it, it's just sitting there, and I'm like, it's the only one I haven't.
You realize the problem now. We're gonna hang out for the entire weekend, and I am going to convince you to join me.
I know it's gonna be a high pressure situation.
Because just so you know, this World of Warcraft expansion changes MMOs in general. It's amazing.
Is it real? Does it really?
It does. It's a game changer in general. You know, let's go back to the podcast here and go ahead and say, we'll wrap up here, and then Tiffany and I can talk about. So you know what, Tiffany, we should play Overwatch later, so I can tell you the wonders of World of Warcraft.
Benny's like that alcoholic who doesn't want to drink alone. He's like, no, come on, just have a shot with me. Just have one drink, come on.
It's cool, trust me.
Just have a little World of Warcraft. Just have a little. You can have a little bit. Come on.
Or he's like the adrenaline junkie. He's like, let's go skydiving. I'm like, I really don't want to.
Tiffany.
No, it's gonna be awesome.
No, Tiffany, I have an offer for you, and everyone in the chat, you can vouch for this. If you level to 110, I will pay for a year of your subscription.
There's nothing to do with the.
No,
the commitment.
then you're hooked.
Once
You're hooked.
you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't afford the subscription, but that's the hook. Like,
I know that's the hook.
Right
I
now.
know that's the hook.
The carrot on the stick.
Because that's always everyone's argument. I know it's only 15, but I don't want to do it. You know.
Yeah.
Not my argument is I know what it does to you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't missed.
You're like, I'm just gonna go on for like maybe a half hour, do a couple of things. Oh my god, 4 hours.
You think that's bad? I'm playing WoW and Final Fantasy 14 right now, so I have two capped out characters in both games.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yes.
You know, they made a documentary about MMO addiction.
I'm going to let you guys be aware of this. So here's what ended up happening. So beginning of 2016, for me, I was working like 15-hour days to ensure that all those channels had those daily schedules and all that other stuff, right? That's what I was doing. I was working my butt off. And then what ended up happening is everyone was like, you're going to burn out, you're going to burn out. I didn't burn out, but I hit a breaking point of I couldn't get anything else into the schedule. Like, they were trying to give me offers to go do a bunch of things, and I would want to go do them, but what ended up happening was I had to sit here and write all these scripts, and I couldn't do it anymore. So a buddy of mine who was between jobs at the time was like, hey, I'll give you a hand for a little bit of money, and I'm like, you know what? I really need your help right now. I told him, I was like, I don't think this is going to work out long-term, but I could definitely use the hand right now. You help me write some scripts up. We'll see how this works.
Yeah.
He started writing them. I had full intentions of letting him go like 2 months into the whole project when I was back home sitting here. But I got back after all of those trips, and I had all these scripts in front of me, and I'm like, I have my evenings off.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? So I've been playing a lot more video games, and then me and my infinite wisdom decided to relaunch our gaming channel since, I have open time now.
Right. And that's the worst thing to have is free time. Nobody wants free time.
No.
Right. For the record, that friend has now been with me the entire time. He's definitely not leaving ever. I'm not ever going to let him leave. So
he's chained up in the basement. I literally won't let him leave.
Yeah, exactly. And that right there is it, because I get a lot of arguments from people who are like, what is more? Don't you want to make more money? Don't you want to do this? And I'm like, you know what's most valuable out of everything? Time. The ability to be like, what did I do tonight? Whatever the fuck I wanted.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying this right now.
Good.
Astral says Sean writes by candlelight.
Well, you got it down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just a shorthand. I've had time to play games, and now because of that, I'm capped out in both games at the moment. Yay.
Nice.
I've also been playing a lot of Xbox. I got Recore, which is really a good game.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah.
Really, I heard mixed things about it.
It gets a little repetitive, but it's only $40. So I've actually been playing it while watching Luke Cage.
That's not bad.
The fact that any game can be sold for $40 in this day and age is pretty great.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sean says he sleeps in the barn now. We might as well let the show go. We've just rambled now for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This turned into Ben and Tiff talking about their World of Warcraft characters.
Yeah.
That's right.
If any of you guys want to find me, I'm on there. You can just go ahead. Just go ahead and say hi to me. Here's my battle net. Here you go. Here, there's my battle net. You can go ahead and say hi to me.
He's battle netting.
Yeah, I've played Recore for longer than I played No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was $60.
Oof.
Ooh.
I never took the plunge on No Man's Sky. I chickened out.
Sounds like you were right to do that.
There's some game, I will say this, like comic books, I typically only buy the ones that I really want to read, unless it's like, okay, I know you don't normally read Steve Rogers, but he just got revealed as Captain Hydra. You kind of got to see what's going on.
You gotta keep up with it.
So that's the only time I ever do it in comics. But with video games, I will play everything, even if I'm not a huge fan of it, to check it out and decide what we're doing on the channels. So
You get Mafia 3 right when that comes out. That's the one I'm all hyped for.
Before we go, we'll ask this for Sal. Are you still doing Elseworlds Exchange tomorrow?
Yeah, it's still gonna happen.
Okay, can I be on it?
Okay. What's our topic?
Luke Cage.
Over again.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Hey, to be fair, he had one. He had a topic. That's
Yes.
not bad.
I did.
Yeah, no, him. He had a topic.
Oh, well,
Like, you asked him for a topic.
Yes, he did. Yeah, you did have one right off the bat. I will say that's kind of cool.
We can talk about Wonder Woman being gay and what this means for gay and lesbians, even though neither one of us is gay or a lesbian.
Right? Yeah, I think our authority is needed on this one.
Let's get to white males to discuss the situation of a lesbian.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it is the internet, so that's the sort of place for that thing.
That's true.
Right? That's exactly. Yeah.
We just
Why is
finished
everyone
talking about a
saying-
black character and his struggles. Let's talk about
What is this red letter media thing? They're saying they're going
Oh,
crazy.
the new Force Awakens review they did.
the new disappointing Plinkett review.
I don't actually watch the red letter media. So
How ironic that their breaking down of that film mirrored the film itself. It was pretty good, but it didn't take a lot of chances.
Yeah, it sure didn't. It was like,
maybe that's the brilliance behind it.
I mean, like, I wouldn't put it past them to be that clever, but like, it's also incredibly disappointing. But in
Jaber's like 50 minutes left. We never go that long, even if this was a normal episode.
Yeah. What the hell, man?
Jay Bird's a good guy. He's been showing up to all my streams that I do late at night.
Well, thank you for watching.
All right, well, I think we should wrap it up here. I keep saying that. I think I've said it 4 times now, and then Tiffany gets me into a topic, and we just keep going.
I know.
Don't talk, Tiffany. Don't talk. All right. I'm Benny the Comic Store, and I dramatically explain your comic books. That is Tiffany and Sal. You can find both of them on the ComicPOP channel doing wonderful, awesome comic book discussions over there. And that is Kate Joel. All right, so on that note, don't forget to find us in New York this weekend. Don't forget to tweet us. We will all be hanging out, and we will be filming a Vine of me running up and bear hugging Joel and him sucker punching me. You will see it if you follow our Vine.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Whoa.
You have not seen my dark side, Benny. There is a darkness in me.
He does a killer Darkseid impression.
Yeah.